My Spy was directed by Peter Siegel and stars Dave Bautista and Chloe Coleman. Dave Bautista plays a spy who's caught between carrying out his next mission while being at the mercy of a 9-year-old girl who catches him spying on her family. Ever since I saw the first trailer for My Spy, and especially after I watched this movie on Amazon Prime yesterday, I always envisioned myself watching this film in the theater with a large crowd. Obviously, you do want to watch comedies in the theater with large crowds because that could make your viewing experience a lot better and a lot funnier, except for those 1 or 2 people that tend to be in the theater during comedy movies who laugh at every single joke, even the lines that aren't meant to be funny. Those people are the most annoying and irritating. They ruin everything. But every time there's a new high-profile comedy movie coming out, I do try to go catch it in the theater if it's playing there. Because let's be honest, guys, comedy movies in recent years have been declining. The genre as a whole is just not as good as it used to be. In the 2000s, it was a very prominent genre, and times before that, in the 90s and 80s, they were really great. But ever since the 2010s began, I saw a pretty big decline in the comedy genre. They're just not great anymore. Maybe there's one good one that comes out every year, if we're lucky, 2 or 3. That's about it. So if I hear about a solid comedy movie that's coming out and it's new, I will go watch it if it's that good. Plus, with COVID-19 happening, we haven't really gotten too many movies already this year as it is. So My Spy was kind of a treat because I think we've only gotten one comedy so far this year that came out on Netflix, The Lovebirds, that's it. So My Spy is the second prominent one. If you guys did not know, I am a big wrestling fan. Ever since I was 9 years old, I've been watching wrestling, and with that comes my love for seeing wrestlers make it big in Hollywood. The Rock, John Cena, and Dave Bautista have all played pretty big roles in massive Hollywood movies. Dave Bautista, every time he's on the screen, I enjoy watching it. I might be biased towards my love for wrestling, but seeing these guys on the screen, I've always had so much enjoyment with it. So that's part of the reason why I did spend yesterday afternoon watching My Spy, because Dave Bautista is in the movie, and in this film, he's good, just like in Guardians of the Galaxy, and last summer he was in the movie Stuber, another comedy. He's once again pretty darn good in a comedy role. Bautista may find himself unfunny and awkward when playing a comedic role in front of the camera, but myself and many others do not agree with that. I just don't see it. He comes off as naturally funny. I'm sure he's very funny off camera. So whatever he thinks about himself when it comes to being funny, I think he needs to rethink that, because he's actually a pretty funny guy. It could just be the dialogue, but he nailed it in this movie. He's pretty funny for sure. Chloe Coleman, for a child actor, is actually good. She is not bad whatsoever in My Spy. She does have some pretty funny dialogue. Some of her moments were notable. I liked her a lot in this movie. For a child actor, that is impressive. The acting in My Spy isn't bad. It's quite solid, to be honest, which is weird because in present day, the comedy movies always usually have some pretty bad acting, but in this movie, that was not the case. Also, I did find myself laughing here and there. Some of the jokes landed. Like all comedy movies, though, in present day, not every single joke did land. Some of that was probably the acting, but some of that is definitely the script. I'll get back to the script in just a bit. What I also liked about My Spy is how this movie did have some creativity to it. The film does offer some creative beats that I did find pretty funny and I liked a lot. For instance, in the beginning of this movie, Dave Bautista is changing the radio when he's in the middle of this action sequence, and every single song is a love song, so that was pretty hilarious. And I also liked how a majority of this movie decided to focus on Dave Bautista integrating himself into the lives of this mother and daughter, rather than having this movie focus solely on the spy things going on in the background, which I'm sure would have gotten really boring. So I'm glad the direction of this film decided to go in the way it did. My Spy reminds me a lot of The Game Plan, even though that is a football movie and this is a spy movie. I do see a lot of parallels between the two, but by no means is My Spy a perfect comedy movie. It's not one of the best comedy movies I've ever seen. It's not even close to that. It's just an average, ordinary, mediocre comedy movie that I've seen before a lot of times in the past. That's why I made that connection between the game plan and this, because this movie does tend to steal a lot from other movies I've seen before. There are times where the film feels like it's going in a stronger direction that could ultimately improve the film. But instead, for the most part, this movie decides to go down the routes of taking on cliches, and there are so many cliches in this film that I just cannot wrap my head around why they have so many. The movie steals so much from other movies you've seen before to the point where they make a reference that you've seen this before during a scene. I could not believe that, but at least they did point that out that they were stealing. So yes, the movie does have a plethora of cliches, also obvious product placement and predictability, which you would expect from this kind of movie. Obviously, if you've seen movies like this before, you're going to predict everything that happens in this movie, and yes, I was able to predict a lot of what happened in My Spy, which sucks, but that's just the reality of the situation. Overall, even when this movie tries making itself a fresh new approach to the spy and comedy genres, it always goes back down that formulaic route, which you probably expected anyway from this kind of movie. But Dave Bautista and Chloe Coleman are pretty good in the film, so I was happy about that. I'm giving My Spy a 57%. Alright, did you guys also happen to watch My Spy on Amazon Prime? If you did, let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. Did you love it or did you hate it? If you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.